The Vivo V21 is supposedly the best front camera for vlogging within this price range. You get 44 megapixels with OIS as well as 4K recording up to 30 FPS with the front camera. So within this price range, is this really a great vlogging kit? Let's find out in this video.
So in this video, we're going to be focusing on the main aspect, that is the camera. The 44 megapixel front camera for stills, as well as being able to record 4K at 30 FPS with the front camera. Now, before we jump into all of that vlogging aspect of things and telling you if this is the best, let's look at some of the main specs on this. You have a 6.44-inch AMOLED display with HDR10 Plus that supports up to 90 Hz, and that has the more smart controls where it switches by itself between 90 and 60 Hz. You also get 8 gigs of RAM that's extendable by 3 GB where it uses storage as RAM space if you need to, and this performs really well for most tasks like gaming and stuff. That's why we're not looking at that. For the main camera, you have a 64 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel macro lens, and an 8 megapixel wide angle lens. On the front, you have a 44 megapixel OIS selfie camera. This is the main feature that we're going to be talking about.
So to test the stabilization on this, I'm going to be using my electric skateboard here, and we're going to figure out how good this really performs when I'm bouncing up and down on an electric skateboard. Alright, so most phones are pretty good with their back camera, but how does this perform with the front camera? So that's the main feature on this, and that's what they're selling, the OIS with the front camera. And already what I can see is this is insanely stable. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm going pretty fast right now. We're going at about 25 to 30 kilometers per hour. And this is recording extremely stable. You guys can see that by yourself. So pretty happy with the stabilization. So just for comparison, now we're going to compare it to the iPhone 12 mini. As you can see, the colors and the vibrancy, the HDR performance on the iPhone is already significantly better. I almost died there on that speed breaker. It's already significantly better, but the shake from the camera, you can see it's pretty shaky, unlike the Vivo phone. This one is a lot shakier. So in terms of stability, the Vivo definitely wins.
Now, apart from the skateboard, I also recorded an entire running sequence that was shot using the front camera on this. So all the shots you were seeing were recorded using that. This is the back camera where it records with 1x zoom, and you can see that it keeps it quite stable even when I'm running up and down.
Now, of course, if you want to record ultra-wide, you can use the AI ultra-wide angle mode. It's not going to be in 4K, and the quality looks a little bit mushy. But yeah, I mean, the option is there if you need it. Only caveat is you can't use the front camera while doing it. You need to use the back camera. Again, just for comparison, here's a side-by-side of the iPhone 12 mini ultra-wide versus the Vivo V20 AI ultra-wide mode. So as you can see, if I stand right in this spot, on the iPhone you can see the little rock on the left as well as more room on the left, plus the light pole on the right. But on the Vivo, we just see the rock barely touching the frame edge, and there's no light pole. So definitely a lot wider on the iPhone, and yeah, it's just an AI mode. I've disabled the 4K mode. We're in 1080p. I've turned on Steadiface, so it should be tracking my face right there. And what I'm going to do is just run across and see how stable it keeps me in frame when I'm running. So a lot of shakes, a lot of jitters. Let's see how it handles that. So let's go. Also, I probably look super weird to the people around me. It does seem like it's keeping me fairly steady. A better example of it would be something like this. So right now you're on a tripod, but if I move around, you can see that the camera sort of follows me. So wherever my face is, it's just going to keep moving based on that. So even if I move further back and then I move back in, it grabs a hold of my face. So it's something like the TikTok filter, the face zoom, but it doesn't zoom into your face, it just keeps your face centered as much as it can. Alright, so like I said, if it comes to comparing the iPhone to the Vivo head-to-head, obviously when it comes to HDR performance and skin tones, the iPhone does seem to come out on top. But when it comes to the Vivo, we get great stability, we get pretty decent details, and overall, I mean, for the skin tones and for most vlogging situations, it looks pretty great. Alright, so this is a side-by-side comparison of both phones. As you can see, the iPhone is a lot warmer in the tones while the Vivo is a lot cooler. In terms of HDR, the iPhone definitely blows the Vivo away. You can't see anything in the back. This is with the front camera itself. This is a slightly darker situation. We're inside the car park and you're looking outside. So the iPhone is fully exposed properly while the Vivo is fully blown out.
Now with that out of the way, the front camera has a secret hidden feature where you can activate two flashes called the spotlight mode, illuminate the subject or your face in both picture taking mode or in the video mode. So just tap on Steadiface within the flash mode and it turns on these two LED lights at the front. These are great for illuminating scenes when it's a little bit darker and you want to have a little bit of punch, a little bit of light kick to your subject on the face, and it looks pretty useful and will definitely help out in most situations.
Alright, now I'm in a relatively dark room and this is the regular mode. If I switch on the spotlight for the flashes, you can see it illuminates me fairly well. So these two dual flashes work pretty well to illuminate the subject that's within this distance. The shadows are quite harsh on the face, but I mean, if you need it, look at the difference. This is with it on and then this is with it off. Makes a pretty big difference.
Now let's look at some of that image performance with 44 megapixels. As you can see, both of them look very similar with the Ultra and the normal mode, but when you crop in, the Ultra really has terrible quality because it over sharpens quite a bit. Now same in this image, the Ultra 44 megapixel mode, you can see when you crop into the leaves, it has a lot less detail. It looks very over sharpened, while the regular picture with the 44 megapixel looks a lot better. The ultra wide camera is decent on this. It's called AI Ultrawide, and the images look alright. They're just not the best I've seen. Taking the main 64 megapixel shot and you crop in, you get a fair bit of detail as well. Now this is a comparison with the iPhone to show you the front camera performance. Both are very similar. The iPhone looks a little bit warmer. This is the front camera portrait mode, both at max settings, and you can see the difference between the background blur on both. This is the back camera portrait mode, and also again you can see the difference between both of them when focused on the lens.
So with all that footage out of the way, is this the best vlogging camera on a smartphone? The answer is no. Obviously, this is perfect for people who like to take a lot of selfies. The 44 megapixels with OIS support, with that dual flash spotlight thing in the front, go for this one. But if you're looking for the vlogging functionality, taking a lot of videos with this, then I do not recommend this. Honestly, the colors on the 4K video mode are just pretty terrible. Even in the video you could see like they're kind of mushy and extremely vibrant in some tones, and I'm not a fan of that. HDR performance as well was quite bad. It overexposed in most shots, then it got the exposure correct. So I struggle a lot with that, especially when I compared it side by side to the iPhone. You could really see a huge difference. Obviously take into consideration that this is priced a lot cheaper than an iPhone, but even a cheaper iPhone would outperform this if you're trying to just vlog with it. So keep those things in mind. A lot of things don't work in 4K mode and you have to downscale down to 1080p, which can also be a bummer. But yeah, I mean, for the price range, you can get away with vlogging, but where it really shines is with the image taking with the selfie camera. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, a like would be appreciated, and we'll see you again in the next video.